Okay, here's a thought.
Hmm.
What if the future of how our cars are built isn't really about the nuts and bolts we see? What if it's something much more subtle, something powerful, working silently, kind of behind the scenes?
Hmm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the unsung heroes of modern car manufacturing, automotive adhesives.
Right. Not exactly glamorous, but vital.
Exactly. And these aren't just, basic glues. They're absolutely critical. They make cars safer, lighter, more fuel efficient, and they're really enabling this whole electric vehicle revolution we're seeing.
They really are foundational to it.
So our mission today is to unpack a recent market analysis that's from Cognitive Market Research, looking specifically at their insights on automotive adhesives, market trends, and future opportunities.
Right.
We're going to explore what this source tells us about, the current market, what's driving it, the challenges, and where this whole innovative industry is heading. It's a topic that really, it touches every driver, even if you don't realize it.
And what's truly fascinating, I think, is how something so fundamental, so seemingly simple, can be so instrumental in shaping the future of mobility.
Yeah.
Automotive adhesives, I mean, at their core, they're a whole range of advanced bonding agents
Cool.
used everywhere in making cars and even maintaining them.
Everywhere. Like where specifically?
Oh, all over. Body assembly, putting the frame together, interior components, dashboards, trim, glass bonding windshields, windows, and really importantly now, in complex electrical assemblies.
Okay. You mentioned earlier they're better than traditional fasteners.
Yeah.
That they distribute stress equally. That sounds significant, but maybe a bit abstract.
Right.
For someone just thinking, nuts and bolts holding things together, what's the real difference? Like tangibly in the car. Is it subtle or really transformative?
Oh, it's transformative, definitely. See, traditional things like bolts and screws, they create thousands of tiny spots where all the stress concentrates, little pressure points.
Right, okay.
Adhesives, though, they spread that load, that stress, evenly across the entire surface they bond.
Like spreading the pressure out.
Exactly. And that translates directly into, well, better crash absorption, for one.
Yeah.
Also fewer vibrations, so you get a smoother, quieter ride. And crucially, it enables lightweight designs. Things you just couldn't do with mechanical fasteners alone. It's like rethinking the car's skeleton.
Wow.
And they are absolutely essential for integrating new stuff properly. Think about heavy battery packs in EVs or those lightweight composite materials. Adhesives are key.
So it's directly linked to efficiency in EVs then?
Absolutely. Their use is booming because of the demand for fuel-efficient cars and those tough emissions laws everywhere. Even the push towards more automation in factories, that increases demand for high-performance adhesives that robots can apply precisely and that hold up under tough conditions.
So these aren't just holding things together. They're fundamentally changing how cars are designed. That must mean the market is, well, responding, right?
Yeah.
What do the numbers say about how fast this is catching on?
Well, the market snapshot from Cognitive Market Research, it shows really strong growth. Let's see, the market was estimated around USD 8,124 million in 2024.
Okay, 8.1 billion.
Yeah, and it's projected to climb to over 13,145 million by 2032.
Wow, it's quite a jump.
It is. It represents a compound annual growth rate, a CER, of about 6.20% during that period.
6.2%
Yeah.
CER. That's pretty healthy growth.
Yeah.
So what's fueling that beyond just the big shift to EVs? Is it wider than that?
Oh, definitely. If you connect this to the bigger picture, this growth isn't just market size. It reflects a fundamental shift in, how we build cars and what we expect from them.
Right.
So beyond those direct drivers like EVs, commercial vehicles, component makers, the expansion is fueled by the rising demand for all lightweight vehicles. Plus, big advancements in the adhesive tech itself. And yeah, those stringent emissions rules globally.
Okay.
But also things like the general acceleration of sustainability trends and even advancements in ADS, those driver assistance systems.
ADS needs special adhesives?
How so? Well, think about integrating sensors, cameras, LiDAR units seamlessly into the car body or windshields. Adhesives allow for cleaner integration, better protection, and sometimes even specific electrical properties.
Interesting. Any specific company examples of these new technologies?
Yeah, Henkel is a good example. They're a major player, and they recently launched new automotive potting solutions.
Potting solutions. Okay, what exactly does that mean in this context for our listeners?
Good question. Potting is basically using specialized compounds to completely encapsulate delicate electronic components, like creating a protective shell around them.
Ah, okay. Like sealing them off.
Exactly, sealing them off. It's vital inside a car, especially an EV, because components face heat, vibration, moisture, particularly around batteries and power electronics. Potting improves their performance, makes them last longer, more durable.
Got it. So it's clear this is a systemic shift, not just niche. But who are the big players making this happen, the giants in this space? And where are they strongest globally?
Right. So the research from 2023 highlights a few clear leaders. Henkel has a pretty dominant share, around 20%.
20%. Okay.
Then you have Arkema at about 15% and 3M with roughly 12%.
So those three have almost half the market between them.
Pretty much, yeah. And they're all heavily investing in R&D, obviously, to innovate and stay ahead. Competition is fierce. You see a lot of mergers, acquisitions, strategic partnerships, all aimed at getting broader product lines and reaching more markets globally. And people expect new companies to jump in, especially in those emerging markets.
And geographically, where's the action concentrated?
Regionally, North America had the biggest slice in 2023, about 35%. That's driven by the big automakers in the US and Mexico, plus a really solid supply chain there.
Makes sense.
Europe's next with around 30%. That's partly because they use a lot of composites and plastics. And there's a huge focus on sustainability and environmental laws, which boosts EV demand, needing more adhesives.
And Asia Pacific. You mentioned emerging markets.
Yeah, Asia Pacific is where the really rapid growth is happening. It held about 25% in 2023, but it's expected to jump to maybe 29% by 2024. That region has the highest CAGR of all, a striking 12%.
12%. Wow. Which countries are leading that?
China and Japan are key. China's incredibly fast EV production, helped by government incentives and rules, is a huge driver for specialized adhesives, especially for batteries and thermal management.
Right.
And you just see expanding investment in automotive R&D across that whole region. So companies are definitely pushing into these areas, Asia Pacific, Latin America too, finding new customers as car manufacturing grows there.
Interesting. And you mentioned sustainability earlier.
Yeah.
Is that becoming a real selling point now?
Oh, absolutely. It's becoming a key competitive differentiator. Many manufacturers are pushing hard to create eco-friendly adhesive stuff with fewer VOC emissions.
VOCs. Remind us what those are.
Ah, right. Volatile organic compounds. They're chemicals that can evaporate easily and contribute to air pollution. So fewer VOC emissions basically means the adhesives are designed to be less harmful, both to the environment and the people working with them.
Better for the air, better for workers. Got it.
Exactly. And even developing recyclable features for the adhesives themselves. That's a big focus.
So what this all means for, the person buying the car, it sounds like more robust, more efficient, and greener cars are becoming standard, partly thanks to this global innovation race in adhesives.
That's a good way to put it, yes.
Exciting. But, every fast-moving industry hits bumps. What's the biggest headache for these adhesive makers right now, despite all the cool innovation?
Well, that raises a really important question, doesn't it? How does an industry that's so vital for the future navigate these kinds of fundamental economic headwinds? And the solutions they're chasing are just as important as the adhesive tech itself.
So what's the main challenge?
According to the Cognitive Market Research Report, the big one is volatile raw material costs.
Ah, the supply chain gremlins? That sounds like it could really mess with planning, right? It's just typical. And how are companies trying to deal with prices swinging wildly?
Yeah, it's a classic problem in many manufacturing sectors, especially anything tied to petrochemicals.
Yeah.
The issue is that key components, things like petrochemical derivatives, polymers, additives used in these adhesives.
The basic building blocks.
Exactly. Their prices fluctuate a lot, driven by supply chain issues, geopolitical stuff, crude oil price swings, you name it.
Right.
And that unpredictability hits production costs hard. It forces companies to keep adjusting their own prices, which can make manufacturing more expensive. That cost might get passed on, making them less competitive.
And it must make long-term decisions tricky.
Absolutely. It really hampers long-term planning, budgeting, and it can even squeeze R&D investment, potentially slowing down that very innovation we were just talking about.
So how do they fight back? What are the strategies?
They're getting creative. Exploring alternative sourcing, finding different suppliers or regions, developing more sustainable ingredients, often bio-based things, to be less dependent on those volatile fossil fuels.
Bio-based adhesives, like made from plants.
Potentially, yeah, or other renewable resources. And also just making their manufacturing processes much more efficient, using less material overall, trying to insulate themselves from those price shocks.
That makes sense. Being proactive is key. Now, looking ahead, you mentioned smart technologies and adhesives, bio-based formulations. That sounds almost sci-fi. Can you paint a picture? What does a car built with these future adhesives actually look like or feel like in terms of maintenance or its environmental impact?
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward, the automotive adhesives market is really set for some major developments. That lightweighting trend, it's not going away.
If anything, it's accelerating.
Right. As the industry pushes for fuel efficiency, adhesives become even more critical for bonding modern materials, advanced composites, aluminum alloys, you name it. So, future R&D will focus on highly specialized adhesives tailored for those materials, ensuring they bond strongly and last.
Stronger, more specialized bonds.
Exactly. And the demand for just generally high-performance adhesives will keep climbing. We expect big innovations in things like faster curing formulas.
So cars can be built quicker.
Precisely. Faster factory throughput, also higher strength formulations, and adhesives that can withstand extreme temperatures, all improving manufacturing and the final product.
Okay, and what about those smart adhesives? That sounds really futuristic.
It does, doesn't it? But it's where things could be heading. Imagine adhesives with tiny embedded sensors.
Sensors in the glue.
Sort of, yeah. Sensors that could monitor the integrity of the bond itself. Is it holding strong? Is there any degradation? And they could feed that data back to the core's diagnostic systems in real time.
Whoa, so the car could tell you if a structural bond is weakening.
Potentially, yes. Think about the implications for safety catching problems before they become critical. And for maintenance, too, allowing for predictive repairs instead of waiting for failure.
That's incredible.
And then there's the green revolution side. Sustainability is a huge driver now. We'll see more development of eco-friendly adhesives, minimal VOC emissions like we talked about, and really pushing those bio-based adhesives with a much lower environmental footprint across the car's whole life cycle, making cars greener from the inside out.
And EV specifically, more new applications there.
Definitely. The rise of EVs opens up whole new areas, particularly around battery installations, securely mounting heavy batteries, and crucial thermal management. Keeping batteries cool requires specialized adhesives that can handle heat and electrical demands.
Makes sense. Lots of specific needs there.
And one more thing, automated production. As factories get more robotic,
Which they are.
they need adhesives that robots can apply super fast and consistently. Precision and speed become paramount. We're seeing companies invest heavily here, like H.B. Fuller recently acquired ND Industries. They make specialty adhesives and fastener locking solutions for automotive, electronics, aerospace. It shows a real commitment to building these future capabilities.
It really is an invisible revolution happening inside our cars, isn't it?
It truly is.
So, just to recap then, the automotive adhesives market, it's clearly set for major growth, major transformation. It's a critical piece of the future mobility puzzle, enabling safer, more efficient, and greener cars.
Absolutely.
And the companies involved. They need to stay super agile, keep innovating, adapt to new trends, consumer needs, often working really closely with the car manufacturers themselves.
Collaboration is key, definitely.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. As these invisible adhesives get smarter, greener, more integral to how cars are actually built, how might that fundamentally change our relationship with our vehicles? Think about maintenance, safety, maybe in ways we can't even quite imagine today.